when I'm getting to the bag, ayy. Got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when the lane moving fast, ayy, ayy. Let them all cross. If they hate, then let them hate and make a bigger boss, ayy.
This episode is brought to you by SPI Logistics, the premier freight agent logistics firm in North America. For over 40 years, SPI has been diligently building the most successful freight agent network to provide first-class relationships for our shippers, receivers, and carrier partners. We are more than another transportation network. We are a dedicated team of professionals united by one singular purpose, and that is to expedite our agents' success. All of our agents are set up for success on day one, as they are provided with a full suite of support staff that is ready to assist them with everything from after-hours emergencies to financial and administrative needs on a no-fee basis. This way, you can focus on continuing to grow your business. There is no financial risk to start, and you have the ability to earn up to 75% in commissions. If you are looking to take control of your financial future and build your business with the backing of one of the most successful logistics firms in North America, visit www.spi3pl.com to learn more. Do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It's the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I do say this before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, you guys, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve. So you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Happy Thursday, everybody. I got a very special guest. I'm going to bring him up. I think it's very, very important for the broker community, the shipper community, and all sides of the industry to listen to what the carriers and the fleets and the drivers are going through out there. And I want to continue to have my friends come on the show that own trucking companies, that are owner operators, to bring your side of the industry to light even more out there. And there's nobody more qualified than my man, Tristan Bordallo. Tristan, thank you so much for taking the time to join me again here today.
Thank you. That's an awesome intro. I wouldn't say qualified, most qualified. I'm still figuring it out, dude.
I know what you mean, man, but like you're actually in the trenches, right? Like you're the one who's doing it at the end of the day. And that's what I mean by it is it's like, I was just talking to somebody about this last night, where it's like we sit here and we see the large logos, the JB Hunts, the Knight Swifts, the CH Robinsons, and what they're doing out there. And they're like, oh, we must do that too. And it's like, I don't think you should. Like, well, what their information is very, very quality, but what a publicly traded company that has tens of thousands of assets is doing, vastly different than somebody who's trying to get from like 2 to 10 trucks and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, it's a different ball game. They have economies of scale. They have the capital that's available to them. Also, with the challenges from a 2 to 10 truck is that insurance is so expensive, right? And the way and our buying power for fuel, it's tough. And then finding great drivers, right? We don't have an awesome terminal where they could do laundry and take showers and have the mechanics work on their truck. Like we're bootstrapped. We're at our terminal's a parking lot. We don't have the cool amenities that the big carriers have. So yeah, it's a lot tough. It's really tough.
So, speaking of that, man, like what was that like? And like, what advice would you give to somebody who might be making their first hire, whether it's a driver or like an office person with you? Like what I would say, like, I mean, how did you figure it out, man? Was there anything that you kind of followed right away? Was it like where, because I know you're involved in like the EO and stuff like that. Did you kind of get that, or did you figure that out before you kind of went out and joined some other entrepreneur groups?
Actually, it was like I would say 4 years in the trenches. I didn't know any better, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I say that I'm so glad I didn't know a lot about assets. I just wanted to try something new. Ignorance and being uneducated about it and unexperienced is actually a better way to go about it. Because I just put my head down. The first year, I did everything on my own. I did the dispatching. I had nothing else to do. So I was learning hiring, trying to figure out how this all works. And then, starting with 3 trucks, it's tough, man. Like the way I look at it was, cause I've been in brokerage, right? So I go, okay, I know what the customer side looks like. I know how that all goes down, but what does it really feel and have to go through being the guy that I used to hire to do the deliveries of my shipment? Like I had to put myself in those shoes, and boy, did I realize, like, wow, this is why so many of them are struggling or have gone out of business. I'm sure in your career that there's your favorite carriers are either had moved on to work for another carrier, or they're just out of the game completely, because it is a tough business. I mean, I've turned myself inside out learning this business, and I'm still learning. It's just a very tough business.
Yeah. Cause like I look at when, cause this is something that we're about to embark upon. I mean, it could be literally any day now where we're like, dude, we need to hire somebody, cause like our business is growing. It's not to the point yet where we're like, hey, we need to start hiring a team. But and that's just because we're making the conscious decision to be like, dude, we're going to run as lean as possible for as long as possible. We're going to be 12, 13, 14-hour days until we need to do that. Because like when you're bootstrapping a business, like there's no financial fairy that just drops money in your bank account and you can just hire a team, right? So we're out here trying to make that decision, but then we're also like, all right, where are we going to go first? And so our consensus is like, we're going to hire operations first, right? Like we're going to hire carrier sales, we're going to hire people to track and trace, just do something internal like that. But again, it's like, how do you look, like what stands out? Because like I don't want to hire Chris 2.0 in the sense of like, because like I know that I'm not the type of person that is just willingly out there that much, you know what I mean? And I know I'm not the easiest person to work with. But I also want to have somebody who I don't even know like kind of like where to start and where to look, because like I don't believe in those typical bullshit employee assessments like, oh, how does this make you feel? Like that's not where I'm at. I'm not an established organization yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the hiring part of it is, and I'm glad that you said bootstrap, right? When you're bootstrapped, you're the guy that does everything. So everyone thinks, oh, you run a business. No, you just bought yourself a job, and it's still not a business until you get your first hire, right? Second hire, because a business is actually something that should make you money without having to go in and do all the 13-hour, 14-hour days. Yeah. So you're building the system. And I think, if you think you're, that you find the right person that can help you and you could work alongside, I mean, you could start, you could literally take a lot off of your plate. And it's probably one of the best things I ever did. My first hire on the trucking side, I was like, wow, I was dispatching all these loads myself, doing all the check calls, it was crazy, man. It was like 24/7. Like I didn't sleep. I didn't take showers for like 4 or 5. I was going crazy, right? Yeah. And I wanted this to work. And so, but it was a relief when I hired my first dispatcher, going, wow, I can't believe I was doing all of this. And you start to realize like, wow, it's actually worth a lot of, they're worth the money to and your time is valuable. It's like how how I look at it. It's like, why would I mow my lawn when I could read a book?
Yeah.
Right. Like,
no, I see it. I hear you.
Like, it's something that you don't need to do. Like, I'm sure you don't want to follow up on all your loads. I think that's for you. That would be a waste of your time.
No, and that's kind of the thing, right? And I feel like, again, there's no playbook to any of this stuff. And I always look at it is kind of like how there's some of the steps that I followed so far in my journey is like, stop looking at, I got to solve all my problems right away and find one area and then try and hire for that. Right. So it's like, like with this show, for example, like I got Christian behind the scenes who does all pre-episode and post-episode production for me. Like I literally just get to like come on and talk, and then I go, and then all of that's taken care of. Right. So it's like, that's why I'm able to pump out content at the level that I'm able to do it, while simultaneously building my brokerage is I chose one area to focus in on. And, as things kind of grow and progress, and I look at it from like my operations team inside of my brokerage, it's like, dude, we need to hire somebody to just book freight. Like we're going to build up and choose. So I feel like instead of thinking you got to find somebody that does everything, I feel like just choose one role that you want to remove from your plate. Kind of to your point there is, like just choose one thing. Maybe it is just check calls to your drivers. If we're talking trucking companies here, maybe find somebody who's not maybe fully a dispatcher, but they can just make check calls for your drivers to make sure everything's going up to date and up to speed on that. So then you can focus on, maybe it's hiring more drivers. That's something that you're probably up with right now, man. So is that something that you guys are constantly trying to do, like from a driver recruiting standpoint? Are you wearing multiple hats like that?
Yeah, I mean, going back to people, right? There's three things we're going to be worried about in our whole business. That's people, cash flow, and growth, right? And it's got to happen in that order: people, cash flow, growth. You got to have the right person to free you up so that you could cash flow more, and then you could grow. And it's the same thing with drivers, right? Like we're having a hard time finding drivers, so I can't cash flow and I can't grow, especially in California. It's right now the market is really tough in terms of the freight rates, but it's also tough that the drivers are also the older drivers are leaving. And so those are your OTR drivers. And then the new breed of drivers, they want to be local. They want to stay home. They want to smoke weed, right? Like you got to think about where we're at in California. I mean, we've been trying to hire for the last 4 months, and I can't believe the amount of people that are in the program from the I think it's the SAP. Yeah. Clearinghouse. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I was like, how? And you got to remember, look where I'm at: California, surrounded by Colorado, Nevada, Oregon, Washington. Yeah. That's just the type of people that are coming in to apply for a job, and they think being a small company. So I use a company out in Georgia that makes sure that I'm hiring the right people. I mean, I don't win awards at for my insurance because I just hire guys off the streets. So a lot of them think we're smaller. They're going to be able to get away with not taking the drug tests, or that I'm not going to be so rigid about the process of hiring. But in reality, when they find out, you start hearing the excuses, and we've seen it before. Like, oh, I had something come up. Like, why didn't you take the drug test? Like, we sent you the drug test. So they didn't think we were going to go through with it because we're a small company. So that's the hard part. And for me to that's why I write about it on LinkedIn, going, wow, dude, the people that I compete with are actually hiring these guys, because they're doing it for a reason, right? Like they're applying, and there are people hiring them. So it's not, the stuff that's happening in our industry, there's people allowing it to happen.
Yeah, no, dude. I mean, I've said that for a while now, Tristan, and I completely agree, man. Like, I think it's about time the DOT and the FMCSA actually do their job. Like we're going to sit here and you can sit here and say like, the flavor of this month is the English proficiency, and then then it's going to go back to it's going to be something else. And again, it's going to be another case study of nothing. Because like ultimately, you guys, this is how bureaucracy is. And especially in where you're at in California and other states, man, where it's like, it's just like nobody actually does anything. Like I swear, man, we have these massive budgets inside of our government that don't actually accomplish anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, but it's also, self-governance, right? Like there's so many times I sat in, behind my computer and just wondering like, how the heck could this carrier do it for this price? Right. I'm sure every broker asks that question, but we allow it to happen anyways. Like, and we know when we call our friends, right? Like I have, speaking to Greg, owner of Liberty Line Haul West, I've known him for like 20 years. Yeah. Right. As a customer, now I help him out with his, excess loads. So we talk about it all the time, going, gosh, I didn't even realize that, there's so many carriers cutting corners, and the price that it costs. Like we all allow it, like, cause I used to call him and say, why can't you do it for this price? And he'd explain it to me. And now that I own the assets, I actually understand what he's talking about. Right. Yeah. Like, and that's the tough part, because we question it. even though we don't understand the real details, we allow it to happen anyway. So if we were able to self-govern ourselves and going, I don't think those rates are right, and I don't think the price that we're paying for this is going to net us the quality. And it's funny how many betting tools there are now. I remember when I was brokering, it was Carrier 4-in-1. That's all I really needed, right?
Yeah. No, that's it. Yeah, there's a ton of vetting tools and everything out there, but like, dude, so it's like from your perspective, man, like obviously the market affects you guys a lot differently than most, because like you guys and most carriers out there can't absorb constant losses inside of your business, right? Like most businesses, you guys, contrary to what you see out there, don't have a slush fund of like, hey, we have $5 million we can lose this quarter. We set the money aside. Most people don't have that, right? So it's like, how are you out there making it work, man? And I feel like this is through some of the most challenging times that we've probably seen in this industry in a while now. And how are you making it work? Is it the dedicated freight? Is it consistent lanes with brokers? Like what is it, man? Because there's a lot of drivers out there who are like, they're at their wits' end, man. You probably talk to them way more than I do, that they're like, dude, I just want to make, I'm just trying to build a quality company here.
Man, yeah, because I'm going on 7 years, right? So it's been a 3.5-year battle. But one of the things that I jokingly say it all the time. There's only 3 ways to make money in freight. That's to run more miles, cut your costs, or run a brokerage.
Yeah.
and or get out, right? So like the reality is, I came from brokerage, so I have a little bit of both. I have the ability to, we do have our dedicated freight that we have that's paying us and it's keeping us afloat. And also I get to cherry pick, right, on the brokerage side, what is the most profitable freight. Like I get to use, instead of calling anyone else, I get to use my capacity for that. And so that's one of the ways. And then, we have pretty cool brokers that we've worked with for a long time that help us out. So, I mean, we need brokers, right? I'm never against brokers, but I'm for brokers that give a shit. Like there are that say they do, but watch what they do, not what they say, right? Like look at the reviews. It's insane. I hate the fact that that's how it's, so many talk about service, right? But that's not really what they're about. I mean, they're not. It's like, imagine me going to Sizzlers and saying, "Yo, I want, I want that Wagyu." Yeah, come on, dude. Like that's not gonna happen.
It's wild, man. Because like, dude, I talk about that a lot with some of the guys that I know that own businesses, and it's like, it's so wild the amount of people who. It's because it's just easy to post your highlight reel today, man. Like, again, you scroll through LinkedIn, fuck, man, you think everybody out there's just killing it, bro. Like, oh, I made $1 million from my couch today and all that bullshit, man. Like, bullshit. And it's like, again, I like the people who, and this, like the irony of me saying this, because I'm pretty loud on social media with my content of like the amount of volume that I put out there. But I'm like, man, I'm sitting back here and I'm like, if all you're doing is talking about how much better you are than everybody else, I think that's the most telltale sign that you're full of shit. Like if you're only talking about how much you make, and if you're only talking about what you do in the sense of like, oh, we carriers are our partners. And if you're only talking about your fucking highlight reel, man, you like, I honestly ignore everything that those individuals say. I need to hear from the people who are actually building a real business and want to talk about what you're describing right here, Tristan. And like what I have people come on and talk about, they're like the actual side of business. Like, no, this shit's hard. Like this is very hard to go out there and build a sustainable company in any market regardless, and then keep that going, right? Because, like they always say, man, a broke clock's right twice a day. Like it's easy to, talk about past highlights and stuff like that. But I want to talk about the people out there who are actually making a difference in this industry, the brokers who actually give a shit about their customers, their carriers. I can tell when I see people out there, and even if like the amount of people that I meet, because like you guys only see the people I allow to come on the show. There's a lot of people who I won't allow to come on the show because all it takes is me of talking to them all of 5 minutes to be like, dude, you're completely full of shit. But like the brokers that I want to pay attention to are the ones who say their own version of when I say carriers and customers are 1A and 1B of importance as a broker, because you don't have a business without either of them. You know, those are the brokers that I know actually care about the industry and want to put a quality product out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's well said. I just and they're out there, right? Like I talk to a lot of old school brokers, and they're amazing. I love hearing the fact that they have the same ethos, and that's what moves that's really what moves us forward in the future. And the hard part that I feel as if there's a lot of farm success out there, right? You're talking about that success that's propped up, like that we see on LinkedIn, and we have no idea what's really going on the back end. For example, like digital brokering. I mean, that's farm success based on the capital they raise and how popular they are. They're not really killing it. I mean, no one has 100,000 carriers in their network.
Dude, when I see some of that stuff, man, we're like, oh, we have 100,000 carriers in our network. I could fucking onboard 100,000 carriers today, but does that mean that I actually work with them on a daily basis? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, it's all transactional, right? Like even that, I mean, it's like, think about that as a carrier. I always think about that. I'm like, dude, there's a false premises that I'm predicated on the fact that you're going to give me future loads when all you want is this one load to be covered. And I understand that, right? When I used to cover loads, I'm like, dude, these guys are, but they're also right ear, left ear is not talking to the other, right? Because you have a carrier sales team and you have the account manager. Carrier sales team only knows what to sell it for. They have no idea whatsoever what it actually costs. They just have a number and a budget to go off of. And so, yeah, that's a pretty hard way to run a business, because if I showed you my numbers, which I know, I just created an app that I actually vibe coded it myself. It took me a month and a half. I learned it, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. Like if I want to be a CFO of a company, but I don't really want to do all the crazy stuff, let me just do it the easiest way possible for a dumbass to do this, right? And it really shows you your cost per mile. And I could guarantee you that everyone that talks about cost per mile, it doesn't matter if your truck is sitting there, your cost per mile is going to cost you a shitload of money because you're not running the miles. So it's all miles dependent anyways. So I always go, every time I see per mile cost, I'm like, dude, but what's the real miles that you're running? What, all of the costs. So I look at it as going money in, money out, and dividing that by the real miles that you drive. And then that will give you a real pulse on what your business looks like. And a lot of carriers need to understand their costs so that they're not going to take it as, this is what I need to charge based on the person on the other phone that's telling me they actually have a view. Because these guys don't know, man. A lot of the guys I talk to, it's wild how they don't know their costs. And it's like, they really truly don't know their costs. And they're just taking money until it's too late. It's always too late.
And dude, and you see that a lot, is like, man, you're chasing the wrong revenue out there, right? And I feel like revenue at all costs is not necessarily a sustainable business model when you don't have somebody who wrote you $1 billion check and said, hey, go fucking blow this money. Because like, there are more failed VC companies out there in Silicon Valley and everything else that you're talking about. Like, just go study some of that, right? And I feel like a lot of them do. It boils down to the fact that, and again, and I say this with confidence, Tristan, if I was given $1 million when I started this, I would have fucking spent 999,000 of it wrong, because I would have no idea. Money earned versus money given is deployed very different. All right. And you can sit here. I don't care how smart you are or what letters you have behind your name or what Ivy League school you went to. The biggest thing that is always removed from everybody's case studies and data sets is the most important thing: human emotion. How are you going to react in that moment, right? So again, not knowing your numbers when you're just out there chasing freight. And I see it on the broker side too, man. And these are the ones who go out and they cold call these shippers, and then they get into the distribution list loads, right? And they're fucking bidding on 100 loads in a day. They might win one and make $100 in it. And they're like, bro, we're bidding on so much freight. We're so busy. No, you're not, man. You're not making any money. at the end of the day. And that's the thing, man. So it's like, if you don't know what your costs are, your break-even point, your 10% profit margin, 20% profit margin, any of that, if you have no idea what those metrics are, you're running around blind.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like that's why that's the reason why brokers or the middle they're able to take advantage of the of knowing that, like, carriers in general, like, don't know their costs. They truly don't know their costs. I mean, you have to understand that in brokerage, it's easy. You know what you're paying and you know what you're charging.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like, that's as simple as it.
I think a lot of, oh, did you freeze? Yeah, he froze. He might be, it's that Southern California internet, man. I don't know if you can hear me, Tristan, or not, but no, I think to your point on a lot of that, man, it's like, I think a lot of people would be kind of surprised at the lack of financial metrics that are out there. And, again, like, dude, I created an Excel spreadsheet for my first P&L, and I went out there and did some of that stuff to ensure that I knew what my break-even point was and knew what my fixed costs were, my variable costs, and everything else. And I fought really, really hard to get to as many fixed costs, monthly costs as possible out there. And I think that that's one of those things in business where you really learn the hard way. And hopefully most individuals out there get to it and have an understanding of that before it's too late. And, it's also, again, it's one of those shows. Shout out to my friends over at Denim when we've done Financial Fridays, so many of them out there to help people understand how, the fiscal responsibility inside of a business and what it requires of you to go out there and to make it. And let's see here. And he's back. What's up?
Yeah, it's the weather's so good that everyone took a vacation and the internet's off.
Dude, it's all right. I just filled it in. I just kept talking about that financial literacy aspect of things, man. And like having a budget and knowing what, hey, if you're making $20,000 a month in revenue, for example, but you're spending 24,000, or, knowing what your fixed costs are and minimizing your variable costs and stuff like that. And just having a better fiscal understanding about what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, it's so important, right? There's fixed and variable. And then there's there's a surprise ones that you don't really realize. Those go into your variable, right? And so those are, and also the cost of carrying money. They don't understand that, a factoring company at 1% or 2%, if you have less than 10 trucks, you're paying 2% plus on factoring. And that's costing you day 1, 2%, and then day 2, day 3, day 4. And then it's literally like, if you have customers paying in 15 days or 10 days, or you could get your customers to pay more, earlier, you should not have to factor those. They don't understand that. They're just like, oh, it's 2%. And then it catches up. It's insane how I've seen that where there's other avenues of financing it versus, doing it just to do it. And a lot of them just get used to just doing it. Oh, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how everyone does it, versus running it like a real business and understanding that there is, a cost to carrying that money. Because I think that's why they fail a lot. Because what happens when brokers start paying within 30 to, they used to pay at 30 days. Now it's 45, 50. And we all know, and I'm going to say this right now because I don't give a shit. Brokers know that we are not going to be able to file on their credit. But believe me, I can, because I'm covered by Allianz, and I will file on everyone that doesn't pay on time.
And I almost wonder, Tristan, how many people don't even know that they can do that, because again, if we're talking about just typical financial literacy out there, I mean, you're right, man. And it's like, I've been to that point in my business. And again, like, fortunately I learned, but it was like, I had a conversation with my attorney about it. And he's like, dude, it's going to cost you more to fight this than it is to actually just like eat the loss. And it's a tough pill to swallow out there. But again, you put checks and balances inside of your business where now, man, that shit doesn't happen, because I paid my attorney a lot of money to create a contract out there that protects me, right? And then we have all legal avenues where we can, we won't go in, get into that there. But yeah, man, you're right. I don't know if enough people actually understand that they can go out there and fight for that money.
Yeah, I mean, and plus that's it's almost like it's accepted. The abuse is accepted, where a broker knows that they don't have to pay within 45 days, or the check is in the mail. I mean, that hurts a lot of carriers, right? Like I come from the LTL world, and try doing that with if you got a great discount that you could make a margin off of, why wouldn't you want to pay that carrier within 14 days? Because I remember having to pay the carriers within 14 days and then carry out the 30 days. That's what we get paid for, right? That's where our margin comes from. We carry the bill for 30 days, but we pay in 14 days. But yet they're doing that to carriers, where we understand that my fuel comes out every 7 days, no matter what. And right on the dot, my insurance at 30 days, the truck's at 30 days. Like I can't pull the stupid shit that everyone else is pulling. Oh, it's in the mail. Or, we didn't see the invoice process. Oh, we didn't have a POD attached to it. I mean, come on, dude. Like, that shit pisses me off, because we don't do that. I mean, look, just look us up on reviews, right? DAT, Carrier Source now. I mean, when someone tells me, everyone's just going to talk about the bad things that you did, when you look at someone's review, like from a carrier view, is when we look at a DAT reviews, for example, right? They have 1-star reviews, and then 1-star reviews and 5-star reviews, right? Nothing in between. It's one or the other. And guess what? The 1-stars are way more than the 5 stars. And then they say, everyone's just going to talk about the bad stuff. I'm like, no, dude, if you're really good and you're a good human being and you're a good company, dude, would you go to a restaurant that had 100 1-star reviews and then 5 5-star reviews and nothing in between, and saying, it's only the guys that just had a bad experience?
Yeah, no, not at all, man.
Like, it's insane. That's how we think, and that's how we justify it. And there's those, and I can't believe that that the guys that are doing things right do not get to we don't win. We're lumped in with all the other bad carriers, and we can't charge anymore for doing things right, because it costs money to do things right.
Dude, I agree, man. And this is why, again, we got to have more conversations like this. We got to have other carriers out there that that are doing the right thing, have them come on, man. And we'll just continue to do this, man. Like, that's the only way that we really fix a lot of this stuff is just to squash all of that shitty behavior that's out there. And Trusted Cartage has a question. What's the name of the company that you suggested to file when brokers, customers, freight forwarders don't pay on time?
Well, I have a company. It's Allianz. It insures my ARs. And dude, I mean, this is not a plug, but they've saved they saved my carrier, because I had a big company that went out of business for over $55,000, carried the bill for 270 days. So,
damn.
And I was able to, get 90% of that money back.
Dude, I love it, man. That's perfect. Well, hey, Tristan, I appreciate it, man. I got to jump because I got some freight to cover here. But we'll be in touch. How does anybody reach out to you to find out more, man? How do they connect with you?
I'm on LinkedIn. So, I mean, hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm always, willing to help the community. And, if you're cool, we're going to get along. So
perfect. Absolutely, man. Well, hey, I appreciate it, Tristan. That's going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. If you're feeling really ambitious after this one, rank the show on iTunes and Spotify, because if you saw value, that's how your network's going to see it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Came back with a bang, window down, yelling